Hey, man, my brothers, back again. Hopefully, I dropped the other one first about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, but it inspired me to actually talk about Jonathan Owens. Haven't really talked about Jonathan Owens that much and Simone Biles, but it's hilarious that it's still going on and going around. And the title of the Medium post was You Have to Be a Taylor Swift to Get a Travis Kelce. And I actually wanted to do something similar because it kind of inspired me, is you have to be a Simone Biles to get a Jonathan Owens. Now, if you look at the blog post by the guy in Medium, he said that it's really just levels and it's really just class. In other words, you have a lot of average TikTokers that are white and TikToker fans that think that they want a guy just like Travis Kelce. And they want a tall, athletic, solidly built, a famous NFL football player, rather than the average guys they have to put up with. And he was quite quaint because he said, I'm an average guy. In other words, an average guy, most guys, to qualify should be smart, intelligent, treat the women well, and just the basics, which he says is the basic minimum. But what really women really want is that lotto ticket, which is tall, good-looking, athletic, a nice, treats women well, rich, and famous. Rich status, right? But they are not the equivalent. In other words, they want Travis Kelce, but they're not Taylor Swift. And that's how come you see this stuff going back and forth with Simone Biles and Jonathan Owens. They think that because he's not as well known and he's not a superstar, and most people don't know who he is. The same thing with white women and Travis Kelce. They didn't know who he was. For the most part, never really heard of him because they're not NFL fans. Hell, I barely knew who he was. I had heard of him and had seen him play, but he's a tight end. And unless you're an NFL fan, which I used to be, but I'm not anymore, not as big as I used to be, I knew of him, but I didn't know that he was a big deal, which is fine. And most women don't. Most black women could not tell you who Travis Kelce was if it wasn't for he was dating a black woman. Most of them couldn't. That's why most of them couldn't tell you who Jonathan Owens is. They couldn't. But there's only 4,000 men in the world that actually play NFL football. That's how elite it actually is. Very difficult to make the squad. Out of 160 million males, there's only 4,000 that play in the NFL. There's only 10,000 that play professional sports. So basically, to get a Travis Kelce or to get a Jonathan Owens, you have to be a Simone Biles. That's the bare minimum. If you're going to go after a guy, you have to be Simone Biles, unless you're going to get lucky. Now, did Travis Kelce date an unknown black woman? For the most part, he did. He dated a couple of them. They weren't well known. They were lucky. Did they qualify to be with him? No, they did not. But if you want to be with and say that you qualify for Jonathan Owens, you got to be Simone Biles. She knew that. He knew that. That's how come he married her, because she qualified to be his wife. She was famous. She was rich. She was kind. She was sweet. And she loved him. And that was enough for him to marry her. All you dusty females that think you qualify for somebody like that. And we had a couple of women in our circle that thought they qualified for an NFL player. We had one, uh, and she has qualities, right? She went to a top 20 school. She works in Silicon Valley, but she thinks she qualifies for an NFL football player like Jonathan Owens. She thinks Jonathan Owens is beneath her. So I told her, just go to the nearest stadium, go up into will call, and try to find that NFL player that's on the bench and see if you qualify for him. See if he'll date you. Better yet, the guy that's starting, that safety, see if he'll date you. See if you qualify for him. And I can tell you, you probably don't. I've seen her picture. You don't qualify, sweetie. You don't. You're an average girl. He's an above average looking man that's some semi-famous. He's got status. In the NFL, you get status. I'm sorry. You have status. Ask Asamoah that married Kerry Washington. It took a Kerry Washington to get him. People forget about Kerry Washington and who she married. She married a cornerback in the NFL. Nobody said anything. Nobody said that he was beneath her. But people make a big deal like Jonathan Owens is supposed to be kissing Simone Biles' feet. And Kerry Washington is much, much more famous and much, much prettier than Simone Biles. I'm sorry. Kerry Washington is probably, when she was young, probably was around a 7 or an 8. Probably an 8. Simone Biles is a 6 at best. There's nothing wrong with her. She's a cute girl, but she's not Kerry Washington. So, for most chicks out there that are not Simone Biles, that are average girls, they're trying to bring down a good-looking, I'm not saying a average dude, average-looking NFL player, a good-looking NFL player, that even without his status could pull a Simone Biles. That you think that you qualify for him, that you think that you can have somebody that's like him. Simone Biles had to be who she was to get him. She did. If she wasn't, she's 4'8" and she's at a 6 at best. He would never even see her. And that is the way the world works. Sorry, but not sorry. Read them and weep. Leave the man alone. Basically, he was the catch. And guess who knew it? Simone Biles. Because had she passed on him, she'd have got a math teacher. Just like the rest of the gymnasts. They got math teachers. At best, a businessman. And not an NFL athlete in his prime. So stop with the hoo-ha. Anyhow, with that, I'm going to bounce off here. This is BJ Side. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.